In this video, we're going to discuss setting up SketchUp with certain units, as well as setting up SketchUp with certain styles. Now, to set up units, we're going to go up to Window and go to Model Info. Notice that the first one that comes up down here, I've selected Units, is Architectural. If you click this drop-down, we have a variety of different options available to us, such as decimal. If we were to change to millimeters, centimeters, or meters, that's where we would go. But for this class, what we're going to do is we're going to stay on architectural, and we're going to change this drop-down precision to 0. The reason why I say drop it to 0 instead of setting it higher here is one of the things that you'll come to notice when you've started modeling for a long time in SketchUp is that setting these to higher precision levels actually causes more problems than it's worth. So what my recommendation would be to set this to 0, and if you choose to, enable your snapping length to 1 inch or whatever you prefer. We're fine keeping our angle precision at 0.0, and you can change this to whatever you like to. 15 works fine for me. We'll go ahead and close this, and once we've done that, our units have been set up for SketchUp. Now the next part that I want to talk about in setting up SketchUp for our basic file that we're going to be using is the use of styles. Now, styles are a visual representation in SketchUp. They don't actually change anything about your model, but what they do is they allow you to view your model a little bit differently. So we'll take a look at that. We'll go to Window and open up the Styles dialog box. Now this is Styles. What we have is we have a Home button that takes us to all of the assorted styles that are stored within our model, and we have drop-downs where we can choose different styles. So let's say if I go down to Sketchy Edges, notice that all of my styles now populate with all of the individual styles that I can choose. If I view my model as chalk on blackboard, notice that everything changes to look like chalk on blackboard. I can do chalk on greenboard, where it changes the background to green. I can even do something like artist brushed with endpoints, where it changes the stroke and the color of the lines appropriately to look sketchy or not. If I click the Home button, it takes me back to my assorted list of all of them that are stored in my model. And what will happen is if I click on my architectural design style again, that takes me and shows me that style. And if I'm done, if I want to use that one, I can go ahead and purge unused, and it'll get rid of all of the other styles except the one I have active. So we'll go to do that. We'll get rid of everything else that we don't want. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through how to download and unzip several styles that we're going to use in the class, store them on your computer, and make them into a drop-down of their own so that they're available to you at all times. We'll go ahead and minimize SketchUp. And what I've done is I've opened up a window on my computer, and I've created a specific folder for my styles to go into. I have it on my Dropbox account, which if you're unfamiliar with Dropbox, I recommend you sign up for an account. They are free to a certain amount. And what basically happens is if you go to Dropbox.com, we'll go ahead and go back just to show you the website, you can download Dropbox, which is a free application which will give you a certain amount of space on your hard drive for free. If we go to a free account, you'll notice that it starts at 2 gigs all the way up to 18 gigabytes if you start referring friends. If you do that, it'll create a subfolder on your hard drive, wherever you choose, called Dropbox, and you can then go through and add different folders in here. And the way that I have it set up is I have a SketchUp Dropbox, styles, and my Architecture 160 styles. Now it's empty at the moment. What I've gone and done is downloaded the Lecture Series 002 styles from the Blackboard Learn website, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to extract all into this folder. So I'm going to go to Browse, I'm going to go to my computer, and I'm going to navigate through into my Dropbox, and I'm going to extract these into the folder I'm going to use, so Architecture 160 styles. When I do that, and I click Extract, notice that it puts both of those styles in that folder. That's exactly what I want. Now if I go back to SketchUp, what I can do is I can come over here to the Styles dialog box and say Add Collection to Favorites. If I go Add Collection to Favorites and scroll down, I'll want to locate the area that I've saved my styles to, which is Styles, Architecture 160 Styles. Notice that this is a folder So any styles that you download and want to add to SketchUp as favorites have to be in at least one folder. So we'll go Architecture 160 Styles, click OK, and notice that it's brought both styles in and that it's its own area in this specific dropdown. Now what SketchUp will do is it'll retain that, and any other styles that you add to that folder the next time you start up SketchUp, or if you choose to go to refresh, it'll add those styles and make them available to you at any time. So we'll go ahead and click Home, and what we've done is we've simply added those styles to the availability list. So here, so if I were to create another part on my model, and I go here and bring this up. Again, we'll be covering these individual tools later in class, but what I can do is you'll be able to see that I can simply change the style by simply just going and clicking on each one of those styles. Now that's essentially what we're going to be doing for setting this up. We want to make sure that these are available to us at all times by going through and adding those to our favorites. Once we've done that and once we've set up our units, we're pretty much good to go on to the next set of tutorials. So in the next set, we'll go into modifying SketchUp via the installation of plugins and customizing keyboard shortcuts.